My ex was living a double life, and this is how I torched it all. Okay, Reddit. Buckle up. Because you are not going to believe this roller coaster of betrayal, lies, and sweet revenge that's been my life for the past year. I'm still reeling. But I need to get this off my chest and maybe, just maybe, get some validation that I didn't completely lose my mind. Let's rewind. I'm 36F, and Nick is 37 meters. We had what I thought was a pretty good relationship. Sure, I'm not perfect, but I was good to him. Until I caught him cheating a year ago. That is, I'm financially independent and have always been meticulous about my finances. It was devastating. But he swore he was sorry, begged for forgiveness, and promised to change. He put in the work to regain my trust. And for about 8 months, things were actually good. Then came the business proposal. He asked me to help him start a business based on his idea. I, being the supportive girlfriend, poured my heart and soul into writing a comprehensive plan for him. Guess what? He never followed it. First, he claimed he didn't have time. Then, it was anxiety about not seeing immediate results. Seriously. As if instant success is guaranteed. Apparently, that was his mindset. For someone who didn't exactly have an amazing academic record, he sure had high expectations. When we first met, he told me he owned a small agency but was about to take a government job. Because the economy was tough, I was cool with that. Everything was relatively smooth sailing until I discovered he was secretly seeing his ex again. This was a colossal blow. I genuinely didn't understand what I had done to deserve this. I tried to be the perfect partner. I was supportive, reliable, always did my best to look nice. And I contributed to the household, paying half of everything even though it was my place. He even got a better job at some point, showering me with love and attention. Then, slowly, things started to shift. He didn't want to go out anymore, lost interest in sex, and became distant. Last year, he lost his job due to COVID, which only seemed to exacerbate things, adding fuel to the fire. I have 2 cats, who are essentially my furry children. I love my house, but it created friction. My landlord is chill about my pets, as long as I keep the place clean, which I do. The cats are rescues I've been feeding for years. They're up to date on their shots. And Nick knew all of this from the start. There are no pet smells, thanks to the fancy automatic litter box. But then, out of nowhere, he started demanding I get rid of them, even suggesting adoption. Can you believe that? And to top it all off, he had the audacity to suggest that his entire family move in. I mean, his siblings, his mom, the whole clan. His youngest brother's wife even left him after her second baby. His reasoning: we had 3 spare bedrooms. It was clear that he didn't intend for them to contribute anything financially. He does contribute some money, but nowhere near half of the expenses. Moving in with his family was absolutely off the table, and that was non-negotiable. I now realize that was a huge red flag and it's too late to fix it now. Then, I got really sick at the end of October. I was bedridden, and he didn't lift a finger to help. No kind gestures. No offering to get me anything to eat. Barely even checking on me. He just took off to be with his family. My own family isn't nearby because I moved to be with him. We had even talked about marriage at one point. But that's where things reach a boiling point. I just recently found out he is back with his side chick, let's call her Laura. Initially, I was going to hire a but honestly, it's not worth the money. I already know everything I need to know. I snooped through his phone and found 3 weeks worth of texts between them. I've been holding on to this information because, at first, I was too devastated to confront him. But now the rage has set in. We're barely speaking now. I did some digging and found Laura's social media. Well, he's been lying to me about going to job interviews without any luck. Maybe he's combining business with pleasure. A trip abroad is in his calendar. And I don't even care to know the details. What I do know is I'm leaving him first. Because of the emotional torment he's inflicting and because he's a pathological liar. So, I'm on a mission. Anything I'm leaving out for my to-do list. I'll be cutting off all contact with him. I already talked to the landlord about leaving the house a little early. I've hired a company specializing in pet transport, and they'll be picking up my precious kittens at 9 a.m. They have all their health certificates ready to go. I'm moving closer to my family, and I've arranged to board my pets until my sister finishes building a new catio, a whole bedroom, dedicated to my babies. The movers are coming in the afternoon, and all his personal belongings will be shipped to his mother's house. I refuse to have any personal interaction. I've already revoked his access to my clients and deleted the business plan he never used. Passwords will be changed on everything. I'm thinking about doing it while he's in the air, to prevent him from meddling. I'm going to leave immediately to avoid any surprises. And with any luck, his family won't come to confront me, and he can now move in with Laura if he wants. I think she lives with her parents, but he will no longer be my problem. Are there any suggestions? I'd hate to leave any loose ends. Update. First, thank you to everyone who took the time to send me your well wishes and advice. It's been incredibly helpful. I left the house as clean as humanly possible. I'm so relieved that my cats made it safely to my sister's place. She's been amazing and created a spacious catio that is essentially an entire middle bedroom. I'm not too crazy about outdoor patios because I love keeping them indoors for safety, so they'll be able to enjoy sightseeing from the windows. I spent the night at my sister's. I'm so glad I never gave up my home office. He wanted me to give it up so that we could use the room to accommodate his family, as if my workspace was just a spare bedroom. I locked myself in that room all night to work on removing any link to him. It was hard knowing what had been going on behind my back. I was nervous after he left, but thankfully, I stopped by to donate his business suits on my way to the bank. I still cannot believe I let him talk me into buying him nice clothes to look presentable at work meetings when he never completed anything. What a waste. I hate throwing away food, but it had to be done. I locked my credit cards, the ATM he used for occasional business expenses, and removed him from all my reward systems, pharmacy, supermarket, everything. I changed my phone number a bit later to make sure he couldn't use them. The main reason I kept my old number for a short while was to avoid being disconnected from his family, mainly his mother. I set up automated air travel to disable all financial ties and avoid confrontation. The movers took a little longer than expected because some furniture needed disassembling. All his belongings were documented and shipped to his mother's. I was told it could take a day or two for them to arrive. The landlord already got the keys, so that's done. His family can deal with him. I donated most of my clothing to avoid triggering memories. I don't need all that stuff anyway. I'm not a fancy dresser, so whatever replacements I get won't be expensive. I took all the electronics I bought for him, game console, tablet, everything. Then, I left for Airbnb about 4 hours away to make sure I didn't run into his family. I'm still tired and mentally exhausted, but I'm satisfied that I got everything done before Nick landed in the British Virgin Islands BVI. Yes, you read that right. The BVI. I kept finding things that made me feel even more stupid. What's done is done. But wow. I opened his external memory to delete any of the files that I created for his business, and found a new business card with his ex's name on it. It was beyond dishonest. He never deserved me. They're living in a dream world if they think this will work out. I was way too understanding and sometimes very passive about understanding he needed time. BVI Airport. Please, let them cover his expenses now. I don't think Laura's mother likes Nick, because their texts make reference to some parental interference from her mom. I'm sure the next show will begin when he tries to get into our place. If he does get in, I will take your advice and go to therapy because my levels of anxiety are over the top. About his tablet. I found out he'd been fired from his government job months ago. It's not that he lost his job. It's that he lied to me about getting a new job and then lied about not getting paid. The lies kept piling up. From what I gathered, Laura constantly asked him if he was at a specific shop. Sometimes he sent her pics of his breakfast at the mall. At least I'm glad I was never a side piece. But it does show how much he's hiding. Apparently, they were even discussing getting back the files. He told her he would have left me earlier, but she needed to understand that would affect him, and she needed to understand. He said we could use it to call him clients. I was excited, until he said it was from his ex's office. Major red flags that I got when I found out they were back together. I refused because those are confidential client files and it's illegal to use them. I wanted nothing to do with her. So, initially, I wasn't going to do anything. But after reading her unkind messages when I was sick, I decided to turn the files over to her boss via my lawyer. No further action will be taken on my side. But aside from screwing her up, I'm glad she took advantage of those files, just in case she didn't get in trouble somewhere along the way. I'm safe and happy to be so near my family. I feel dirty and disposable, especially after finding out his family knew, and that he thought he was helping me out financially. Thinking of me as greedy. He hardly knows people's time. I will never help a man build anything ever again. I need to refocus and rebuild my life. I want to help my sister. I need to lose my feeling of being invalidated. It helped that I left AS show. Unruly kids that she allows to climb on the wall if they could. Let him find out how the website has been taken down. I wonder if he tried to be a hero and try to slide the card for his side chick's family's meals. I will never know. I hope he enjoyed living with his little brother and his baby mama drama from an ex, who is now successful and wastes no time dragging him down. I'd love to see the situation when his other brother gets yelled at and taken to court by his ex. Or when his sister goes crazy and starts yelling because her ex walked out on her, and somehow this is everyone else's fault. Thanks again for your kindness. I'd like to say a few things. 1. Thank you. 2. You can start a business with little money as long as you have a valuable service to offer. Avoid saturated markets. 3. Invest in compliance. There's no way around it. You can registrations and certificates are mandatory if you want to be taken seriously. 4. Based on my bitter situation, don't trust anybody. No one. Play friends. Don't mix love and money. Just don't. Give a hand up to someone who deserves it and won't abuse your help. 5. Do things in bits. Just my 2 cents. Newest update, January 5th, 2022. Thanks for your kind replies and messages. I spent New Year's Eve with my family. I spent so much time and energy focused on keeping my ex happy, in terms of keeping their relationships together. So my New Year's Eve was simple. I went to visit family and got to enjoy the gathering with old friends we've known for years. We took all the precautions. What's COVID vaccine shots? Etc. I like the feeling of just being a regular person and not having to be guarded against getting on his nerves or his sales bad side or feeling that my soul isn't making an effort to connect with me. My sister agreed to allow me to help her set up a new business. Also, she's a hard worker and she already enrolled in courses so that she can gain some expertise. My sister is a patient learner who writes everything down. I love it because it encourages me to keep it up. I had a chance to get to know my teenage nieces and nephews a little better. I had great fun with fireworks, and it helped with sound insulation. I left my family's home early the next morning and spent the whole day in my pajamas, watching comedy shows. Honestly, I need the light-hearted stuff right now. I'm still recovering from my illness. So about the S hit the fan at least twice. My lawyer suggested I give my old landlord my new number to keep communication open, should he need anything or need any post-move adjustments. But it's best to keep communication open to avoid misunderstandings. Everything was clear between me and my landlord. I left Nick with instructions toward asking him for anything. The landlord refused, this time with his mother and sister. This makes no sense. But Andy declined to act in any way. Just imagine having to deal with such a person in a respectable position. I know he can succeed if he just put in some effort. This sounds so familiar. I just wonder if he will ever change. Oh, and Nick said all of this is happening because you broke up with me and I couldn't handle it. Also, even if you got in, all utilities have been canceled. You cannot access anything. This originated in an exchange between Nick's ex and the landlord. The landlord says he even got in a fight with Nick and his mother and sister. Nick made it really hard to get rid of and that his sister sat on the stairs and was defiant. Andy's staircase wasn't allowed. Retrieve his business files and information. Nothing else happened at this point after they were told the police would be called on them. Andy's is the landlord, who's professional level and kind of tried to remove boundaries. That's all I know from Andy's communication. So sorry if this doesn't make a lot of sense. I called my lawyer. A lawsuit is another long shot since Nick only used his mother's address as his official domicile. He even used it in for his legal battle with his ex-wife. I know this whole scenario isn't my problem anymore. I don't know my ex's personality. You never trust someone who claims they will help you but will leave you with nothing. She's infatuated with men and dump them after they are finally available. They don't love you. You will learn who really loves you when you have nothing but yourself to offer. Also, tomorrow will look better. That's totally them and the dynamics of their family from hell. To take responsibility is a foreign concept. All of her siblings are shown with Nick on the New Year's post. Not on the New Year's Eve post. Not on the New Year's Day post. They posted about 3 entries in between, and she wasn't tagged. But she's just not being included. Her sister who lives abroad posted a picture of all the siblings, and she definitely hates Nick. And that she is sure God will have great things in storage for you next year. Toxic people will be removed no matter how painful it gets. Also, I don't like Laura, but I feel that somehow she's getting in over her head, and I'm not sure what happened. Exactly what went down. Her mother seems to be reeling and has been writing a lot about parasitic men. Or so she says. Honestly, I don't think they're broken up for good. Hopefully she will wake up if so. She seems to be acceptable from the perspective of her family. Or I could be wrong. So Reddit. After hearing all of that, I'm desperate to know. Do you think I handled this situation correctly? Was there anything else I should have done? Or anything I shouldn't have done? All feedback is appreciated. I'm really trying to process all of this and move on to a better chapter in my life. And your opinions could really help provide some perspective.